what a double standard here. Where's the FBI? They should be battering rams knocking down his door. I mean, were they raiding his home? No. I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, and, I see the liberal press trying to spin it, say like, well, we'll see what's in it. It was TSSCI. It's as big a deal as anything that they found in on Trump's property.
So as you heard, the Justice Department now looking into Biden classified documents, and critics are blasting the president's sanitized trip to the southern border. Let's bring in tonight's political panel. Fox News contributors Leslie Marshall and Jason Chaffetz. Welcome to you both. Jason, if this was President Trump and they had re-raided his house, or this was the first raid, it would be wall-to-wall on every network. Former president posted the following on Truth Social, quoting here, "When is the FBI going to raid the many homes of Joe Biden? Perhaps even the White House. These documents were definitely not declassified." I think everybody has kind of agreed, Jason, even on both sides of the aisle. You say, he really has been treated differently, and there seems to be a little bit of a different definition of these documents for President Biden.
Well, look, when it was Hillary Clinton and there were classified documents, some of them so sensitive, even me as the chairman of the Oversight Committee, I couldn't see them. They were so classified. And there was BleachBit and destruction of those documents that were under subpoena. Nothing, crickets, nothing going on. Donald Trump, yeah, he gets a raid. Joe Biden, now remember, the Donald Trump documents, I'm not defending him having those. I think they should have been in the archives, but they were protected by the United States Secret Service, and he does have the proper security clearance. Documents that are classified at the University of Pennsylvania are not under protection, and they are being accessed or potentially accessed. And do they know? Did they get all the documents? How come the FBI isn't going through and looking at all the documents to make sure that there aren't additional classified documents there?
Yep.
That's why they did a raid on Trump, and they should be doing the same thing on Biden.
And that was my next question. You have House Oversight Chair James Comer saying the following here, quoting, "President Biden has stated that taking classified documents from the White House is irresponsible. Under the Biden administration, the Department of Justice and National Archives have made compliance with the Presidential Records Act a top priority. We expect the same treatment for President Biden, who has apparently inappropriately maintained classified documents in an insecure setting for several years." And, the New York Times and the networks, Leslie, keep using terms like benign and innocuous and not really a big deal. Your thoughts?
Well, let's also say what the congressman from Kentucky or the Republican said on this as well, which was that he felt that President Biden had done nothing wrong. And, and we're not comparing apples to oranges here. We are comparing apples to apples, but there are green apples and red apples. And let me explain how. Mar-a-Lago was a residence, not just an office facility of the former president, not the case for President Biden. 1. 2, 15 boxes is not a few documents, which is the case currently, as we know. 3, President Biden's attorneys immediately contacted the White House, who immediately contacted the proper individuals, not only the Justice Department, but the National Archives. And I think that, for people that say this is a political game going after Trump, well, they can't say that now because Merrick Garland and the Department of Justice are doing the same with President Biden. And when you say not the same, because there wasn't a raid, there was a search warrant that was presented because they did not provide documents that had been requested prior. And that's pretty much standard operating
procedure. They found these on
procedure.
November 2nd. We're going to get into more with the Common Sense Department. I want to get to the border now. Here's Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, Jason, on Biden's border trip. Watch. Yeah. Your thoughts, Jason?
No, look, I'm glad he went. I wish he would spend more time with rank-and-file Border Patrol agents to understand that. I was glad to hear the president admit that 100,000 deaths are coming north on that border through fentanyl. And he goes down there and says, oh, but the border's secure. Come on, it makes absolutely no sense. Yeah. I'm glad he finally went there after 50 years in office, but he's not taking this seriously.
Yeah, it's a very fair question, too, Leslie, and I'll give you the last response here, but he has said over and over, and so has Mayorkas, the border is secure. The White House says the border is secure. You can't have it both ways. You can't have 100,000 dead Americans from fentanyl coming across the border and say that it's secure. It's not secure. It's deadly. It's lethal. I want to bring up immigration reform. I want to put these numbers up, Leslie, because, the president was down, couldn't find a single migrant to talk to or look at or anything. 2,378,000 in 2022. It's kind of amazing. Your final thoughts on this?
Well, a few things. First of all, we all know whether it's a Democrat or Republican president, when they go somewhere, their itinerary is pre-planned. They do that not just with the Oval Office, the White House, and the administrative staff, but with the Secret Service, first of all. Second of all, I would agree with Jason that it's about time he went. I wouldn't say 50 years, but definitely since he was elected president, I think it's important that he do that. And then lastly, the president, again, can only do so much. As Jason knows, he's a former member of Congress. Congress needs to do something, and both Democrats and Republicans have continued and continue to kick comprehensive immigration reform down the road. And until they stop doing that, we're going to continue to have these conversations.
Though we should know, finally, the immigration reform, bottom line, is not going to stop the line of people at the border. It's just not. Never has, never will. Jason, Leslie, thank you both. We appreciate it.